Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we sift through the information overload to bring you the most potent, actionable insights. Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're diving into one of those, well, mundane yet critical areas we all encounter. Door lock problems. You know that infuriating moment when your key jams or the door just refuses to latch, leaving you frustrated, maybe running late?
Or even worried about security. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, our mission today is to transform that panic into power. We're going to show you that many common lock issues, they aren't a dire emergency demanding an immediate, expensive professional call-out.
Right.
With a bit of knowledge and, a few basic tools, you can save time, money, and a whole lot of stress.
What's truly fascinating and often overlooked is how frequently simple solutions are, well, neglected. Our source material for this deep dive focuses specifically on common house and commercial door lock problems, drawing insights particularly from the UK context. But the universal principles we'll uncover are applicable pretty much anywhere. Understanding these fixes isn't just about convenience, it's about gaining valuable, tangible skills.
Skills that directly enhance your personal security.
Precisely. And give you immediate practical benefits. It's about taking back control over a critical piece of your daily environment.
Exactly. So, here's the journey we'll embark on today. We're going to dissect 7 key lock problems that frequently rear their heads. We'll delve into why they happen, because understanding the root cause is, well, half the battle.
Absolutely.
Then we'll arm you with specific, actionable DIY fixes and some expert pro tips that could be absolute game changers. This deep dive is designed to make you not just informed, but genuinely prepared, turning those moments of panic into a confident, aha, I know what to do.
Let's unlock some knowledge then.
Okay, so imagine this. You're rushing out the door, coffee in hand, maybe a bit distracted, and suddenly your key refuses to turn.
Ugh, the worst.
That sticky or stiff lock is more than just an annoyance. It's a common, frustrating start to a lot of people's days. Our sources tell us this is a leading cause of lockouts, especially in places prone to dust, moisture, or heavy use. Think the main entrance of a busy office, or even just your own exterior home doors facing the element.
Indeed. If we connect this to the bigger picture, this problem often stems from a fundamental lack of, well, preventative maintenance.
Right.
The why is usually a gradual accumulation of dirt, dust, or other minuscule debris that builds up inside the intricate lock mechanism. Alternatively, it could simply be a lack of lubrication over time, or even environmental factors like humidity or cold causing internal components to subtly expand or contract, creating that resistance you feel.
So knowing why it happens, what's our first line of defense? I, like many, used to instinctively grab any lubricant I could find, but I suspect our sources have a more nuanced, more effective initial step. What's the surprisingly simple fix you recommend?
Well, the very first DIY fix is often the most overlooked. Clean the key itself.
The key.
Yeah. Grab some rubbing alcohol and a clean cloth, wipe that key down thoroughly, pay attention to the grooves and ridges, then try reinserting it. You'd be amazed how much gunk can transfer from your hands, pockets, whatever, onto the key and then right into the lock.
That makes perfect sense. It's such a simple thing, yet, rarely the first thought. But if cleaning the key isn't enough, then we move to lubrication, which is where things can get a little tricky, right?
Precisely. And here's where a crucial detail from our sources comes in. When lubricating, you must use a graphite-based or silicone spray lubricant.
Okay, graphite or silicone.
You insert the little straw into the keyhole, spray lightly, let it penetrate. Crucially, and this is a point I really can't emphasize enough, avoid WD-40 or other oil-based products.
The classic mistake.
Yeah, for years, many of us, including myself probably, thought of WD-40 as the universal fix-all. But for locks, it's a definite no-no. It might offer a momentary improvement, sure, but oil-based products actually attract and trap more dirt and dust. Turning your lock's internal mechanism into this sticky, grimy mess over time. It actually makes the problem worse in the long run. Think of it like a magnet for gunk.
That's a real revelation for a lot of people, myself included. The WD-40 myth is so pervasive. Okay, so once we've used the right lubricant, what's next?
After lubricating with the correct product, gently insert the key and work the mechanism.
Just back and forth.
Yeah, turn it back and forth several times, slowly, to distribute that lubricant throughout the internal pins and springs. You might even hear a subtle shift as things free up. And a can of compressed air can also be your ally here. blast out any stubborn dust or debris that the lubricant might have loosened from the keyhole.
Good tip. And for pro tip to prevent this entirely.
Schedule lock lubrication maybe every 6 months. Make it a habit, perhaps tie it to changing the clocks or before winter really sets in after heavy rain or dust.
Like changing the oil in your car.
Exactly. A little preventative maintenance now saves you from a lockout at 2 a.m. or, a frustrating commute.
Now, if your key does turn, but the door still won't close properly, that leads us to our next headache. The dreaded misaligned door lock or latch. You know the drill, that irritating moment when the latch just isn't catching and you have to give the door an extra shove or jiggle the handle to get it to quick shut?
Yeah, we've all been there.
This is particularly common in older buildings or homes with wooden doors where the structure might have, well, settled a bit.
That's a point I'd never fully considered, but it makes so much sense. The idea of the door's framework actually moving due to environmental factors.
Right.
It's truly a revelation. This raises an important question. How much of our home maintenance is simply responding to the environment around us? Misalignment often happens due to the natural settling or warping of door frames, especially with wooden doors. Seasonal humidity makes the wood swell or shrink.
And that subtly shifts the door and its strike plate.
Exactly. Or loose or sagging hinges, or even just improper installation or wear over time. They're frequent culprits that throw everything out of whack.
So, if we suspect movement is the culprit, what's the first step in our detective work? Where do we start fixing?
For the DIY fixes, start with the hinges. These are the unsung heroes of your door's alignment.
Okay.
Tighten all visible hinge screws with the appropriate screwdriver. Sometimes, honestly, that's all it takes to lift a sagging door. But if you notice the door is still visibly sagging or rubbing, our sources suggest replacing any worn screws with longer ones, often 3-inch screws.
To get a better grip.
Exactly. To get a better, more secure anchor into the door frame behind the jamb, this can really pull the door back into position.
I can certainly picture that making a huge difference. What if it's not the hinges, or the hinges are tight, but the latch still isn't quite meeting its mark?
Then you might need to reposition the strike plate. That's the metal plate on the door frame that the latch bolt slides into. Loosen its screws, gently adjust its position up, down, side to side so it lines up perfectly with the latch bolt when the door is closed, then retighten. In some cases, if the original opening is just too tight or slightly off, you might need to carefully chisel out a small amount of wood around the strike plate opening.
Just to enlarge it a bit.
Yeah, just to allow for that better alignment and smoother entry of the latch. And finally, don't forget to check any weather stripping. Sometimes it can shift and block the latch, preventing it from fully extending.
Oh, good point. So just remove or reposition it. And for a pro tip on this one.
If you notice the door sticking at the top or bottom or the latch isn't catching, close it slowly. Really watch it. Look for uneven gaps around the entire door.
See where it's tight or loose.
Exactly. Is it tight at the top but loose at the bottom? This visual inspection can really help you pinpoint which hinge or area needs adjustment rather than just guessing. It's like performing a mini forensic analysis on your door.
Okay, our next problem is a genuine, heart-stopping panic moment. The key goes in, but it won't turn. Or it's a real struggle just to get it in, like the lock is actively resisting you.
Oh, yeah. That one's stressful.
This is a very frequent reason for emergency locksmith callouts, apparently. Especially with older locks that have seen a lot of life. You're in, but you're not in, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. It's that frustrating limbo. The culprits are often familiar. A buildup of dirt or debris inside the lock cylinder.
Again, with the dirt.
Always. Or a key that's become worn or bent over time, or internal lock wear and damage that's simply causing the pins to seize or misalign. And once again, the importance of using dry graphite or silicone lubricant over oil-based ones. It cannot be overstated here. Oil will only make it worse, create more sticky residue.
Right. So when faced with this particular kind of resistance, what's our first course of action for a DIY fix?
Okay, DIY fixes. First, lubricate the lock generously with that dry graphite or silicone spray. Work it in, then try again gently. Then, a crucial step. Try a spare key.
Oh, this...
If your spare key works smoothly, it's a strong, clear sign that your original key is worn or bent, probably on its last legs.
So get rid of it.
Replace it immediately. This isn't just a suggestion, it's a preventative measure. Keep it from breaking inside the lock, which creates a whole new level of frustration and expense. Trust me, a new key is pennies compared to a locksmith for an extraction.
That's such a smart, practical distinction. What if both keys struggle, or you suspect something deeper is going on inside?
Well, if you're comfortable with minor repairs and neither key works, and you suspect internal damage, You can carefully remove the lock from the door to inspect it. Look for visible wear, broken bits, obstructions.
Okay.
A gently approach, though, if the key is just hard to insert, is the wiggle technique.
The wiggle.
Yeah, gently insert the key while wiggling it slightly up and down or side to side. Sometimes internal pins are just slightly misaligned and need a little coaxing to fall into place.
Okay, worth a try. And the pro tip here.
Address any difficulty you notice immediately. Don't let it linger. That slight stiffness or hesitation is a warning sign.
Don't ignore it.
Exactly. Ignoring it could save you from a broken key, a total lock failure, or being locked out. I can tell you from let's just say, experience, you think you're saving time by forcing it,
Yeah.
but then you're stuck with a tiny, sharp piece of metal and a much bigger, more expensive problem. It's like trying to untangle headphone wires with oven mitts on. It just gets worse.
Yeah. Okay, good analogy. Now let's shift to loose door locks or handles, our fourth problem, because this one has significant security implications that go beyond mere annoyance.
Big time.
Our sources cite police reports stating that loose components are a major cause of break-ins via forced entry. This isn't just about a wobbly handle, it's an issue that demands your urgent attention.
What's truly fascinating and frankly alarming is how seemingly minor issues, like a wobbly handle or a loose lock assembly, expose a fundamental vulnerability in our security mindset. We often focus on the lock's inherent strength, its internal mechanism, right? But we neglect the integrity of its mount.
How it's actually attached to the door.
Precisely. Turning a robust mechanism into a fragile barrier against forced entry. It's a classic chain is only as strong as its weakest link scenario, often overlooked until it's too late. The reasons for this are usually straightforward. Frequent use causing screws to loosen, worn or stripped screw holes, or simply internal lock components wearing out over time.
So for the DIY fixes, what's the most straightforward way to address this security weak point? How do we tighten things up?
The primary DIY fix is all about tightening things up. Grab the appropriate screwdriver, usually a Phillips head, and systematically tighten all visible screws. On the lock faceplate, the handle assembly, any cover plates.
Just give everything a good check.
Yeah. And if it's a commercial door, remember to check both sides of the door for screws. They're often designed differently, through-bolted.
Okay. And what if those screws just spin endlessly, or the holes seem stripped? That happens sometimes.
Right. If you find that screws just won't tighten because the holes are stripped, you have a couple of options. For a quick fix, try replacing them with longer or thicker screws that can bite into fresh wood or metal deeper in.
Okay.
For stripped holes in wooden doors, a more robust solution is to remove the screw, fill the hole with wood filler, let it dry completely, and then reinsert the screw into that reinforced hole. Gives it something solid to grab onto.
Oh, clever.
And if you're comfortable, carefully remove the lock from the door to inspect for any broken or worn internal parts that might be contributing to the looseness and need replacing.
The pro tip for this is absolutely crucial for your peace of mind and safety. Make it a habit to regularly inspect high-traffic doors,
Definitely.
like your main entrance, garage access door, office doors. Make it a point to just check and tighten the hardware every few months.
Takes 2 minutes.
Exactly. The crucial takeaway here is that a simple, quick check can make a massive, fundamental difference in your overall security, often deterring opportunist burglars looking for an easy target. Problem number 5. A key stuck or broken in the lock. This is a truly frustrating, often panicked moment,
Oh, the worst.
and apparently a frequent emergency locksmith call-out. Our sources even note its increased occurrence in winter, when cold weather can make metal more brittle, leading to a higher chance of snapping.
Yeah, metal fatigue.
It's the stuff of nightmares, especially when you're late or it's freezing outside.
It's a perfect storm of factors why it happens. Forcing a key into a lock that's already sticky or misaligned, perhaps one you've been neglecting from our first problem.
Connects back.
Exactly. Using a key that's already worn, bent, or cracked. And as you mentioned, cold weather significantly contributing to metal fatigue makes the key more susceptible to snapping under pressure.
So when a key gets stuck, or worse, breaks off clean the lock, what are the immediate DIY steps we can take, short of calling a professional right away?
Okay, DIY fixes. If the key is just stuck but not completely broken, try gentle removal first. Wiggle it very, very carefully while pulling outward. Needle nose pliers can give you that extra fine point grip to coax it out without applying too much sideways force.
Gentle is the key word there.
Absolutely. If it's broken and a piece is still visible, or even just inside, our sources recommend purchasing a specialized broken key extractor tool. They're surprisingly affordable, available at most hardware stores. It's essentially a thin, barbed hook designed to grab the key's teeth.
That sounds like a handy thing to keep in the toolbox, just in case.
Yeah.
What if you don't have one of those specific tools handy right then?
You can also try a makeshift thin blade method, using something like a very thin jigsaw blade, one with fine teeth, or a bobby pin straightened out and bent into a tiny hook at the end. Even a small, sturdy paperclip might work.
Okay, get creative.
Yeah, the goal is to slide it alongside the key fragment in the keyway, hook onto a tooth, and gently pull the broken piece out. A small amount of dry graphite lubricant can sometimes ease the removal process, too. Helps the broken piece slide more freely.
Less friction.
Mm.
Okay. And the pro tip here is a simple but powerful one.
Never force a key that feels stuck. As we've covered, it's a recipe for disaster.
Don't do it.
And if you notice any cracks, bends, or significant wear in your keys, replace them immediately. Trust me, it's far less of a hassle, far cheaper to replace a key than it is to extract a broken piece from a lock.
Definitely.
From personal experience, trying to dig out a jagged shard of metal from a dark keyhole at night, it's a completely different, much more agonizing situation.
I can only imagine. Okay, from a key that won't turn, let's now consider an even more unsettling scenario. When the key does turn, but the lock simply won't engage.
Right, the cylinder just spins.
Yeah, the cylinder spins, but nothing actually happens, and the door remains unlocked. This is a clear indicator of a deeper, more serious internal failure, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. This issue is typically caused by a broken cam, which you can think of as a small rotating lever inside, or a tailpiece, often a flat bar. These are the internal components that physically rotate or extend when you turn the key, connecting that action to the latch mechanism and making it move.
So they link the key turn to the bolt moving.
Exactly. If they break, the key spins freely because there's no longer a mechanical connection to the guts of the lock. It can also be due to a loose or missing set screw that secures the cylinder within the lock body, allowing it to spin independently. Our sources indicate this is more common in commercial locks that experience heavy, frequent use and wear.
Okay, so this sounds like a problem that requires a bit more mechanical intervention. Getting inside the lock itself, what are the DIY fixes for something this fundamental?
For DIY fixes, you'll definitely need to remove the lock from the door for a proper inspection. Unscrew the mounting screws on the edge of the door, slide out the cylinder, and then meticulously inspect the internal components.
Get a good look inside.
Yeah. Once it's out, check the set screw. It's usually a small screw on the side of the lock cylinder. See if it's loose, tighten it, or place it if it's missing or stripped. If the cam or tailpiece is clearly broken or snapped, you'll need to purchase a replacement kit specific to your lock model. These are usually quite standard, but matching the brand and model is key.
Right, got to get the right parts.
After addressing the issue, make sure all components are properly aligned and securely tightened before carefully reinstalling the lock.
The aha moment here is truly understanding that there are these specific, often tiny internal parts, like the cam, the tailpiece, the set screw, that are responsible for the lock's core function. Knowing what they are and what they do really demystifies the problem. Makes it feel less like magic and more like mechanics you can actually fix.
Absolutely. And for a pro tip, if you're disassembling the lock, take photos at each step. Seriously.
Yeah, good idea.
Before you loosen anything, snap a picture. After removing a component, another picture. This will be an absolute lifesaver when you're trying to put it all back together, especially if you're dealing with multiple small parts. Always ensure the lock is securely fastened when you're done, too. As we discussed, a loose lock is a security risk in itself.
Right, brings us back to that point. Okay, finally, we arrive at problem number 7. The door simply won't latch or close properly.
Yeah, another really common one.
We've all been there, haven't we? That infuriating moment when you close the door, only to hear that soft thud and realize it hasn't properly latched.
Or you have to slam it.
Exactly. It's not just annoying, it's actually a gaping hole in your security.
Oh.
Our sources cite police data showing that 12% of burglaries involve doors that were simply not latched or closed properly.
Wow, 12%.
Yeah. Plus, this can lead to major insurance problems if your building isn't adequately secured, potentially voiding claims.
This isn't a problem you can afford to ignore. It needs immediate attention. The common causes reiterate themes we've discussed. Warped or swollen door frames, often after heavy rain or humidity.
Back to the weather again.
Yep. A misaligned strike plate or latch from settling, or simply debris in the latch area preventing proper engagement. It's often the cumulative effect of these environmental and wear factors.
So, for the DIY fixes, how do we tackle a door that just refuses to secure itself? What are the steps?
We circle back to some familiar fixes. First, adjust those hinges again. Tighten or replace screws in the hinges to lift or shift the door as needed. Sometimes the slightest tweak there brings everything back into alignment.
Start with the hinges.
Then meticulously realign the strike plate. Move it up, down, or sideways to perfectly match the latch position. And as before, if necessary, don't shy away from using a chisel to slightly enlarge the opening. Sometimes just a millimeter makes all the difference.
Fine-tuning.
Also, ensure there are absolutely no obstructions. Clean out any debris, paint buildup, or gunk from the latch mechanism and the strike plate opening. Lastly, apply a silicone-based lubricant to the latch mechanism itself to ensure smooth, unhindered operation.
And for a powerful pro tip on this one, how do we diagnose it best?
Close the door slowly. This allows you to observe exactly where it sticks, rubs, or fails to latch. Mark those points, even a pencil mark can help, and you'll have targeted areas for adjustment rather than just fumbling around.
Smart.
The real implications of this are immense. A seemingly simple security oversight can have potentially massive consequences for your safety and property. It's a stark reminder of why these minor fixes are so profoundly important.
So to recap our deep dive today, it's abundantly clear that many common door lock problems aren't impenetrable mysteries or, causes for immediate panic.
Definitely.
With just a few basic tools and the practical targeted knowledge we've discussed, you can often solve these issues yourself. It's incredibly empowering to know that you have the skills to maintain your own security, comfort, and peace of mind without always needing to call in a pro.
Absolutely. The value of regular proactive maintenance cannot be overstated. It not only prevents most issues from ever developing in the first place.
Saves you the headache later.
Right. It also significantly extends the life of your locks and, most importantly, fundamentally enhances your security. As we always say, knowledge is most valuable when understood and applied. These insights are not just for listening, they're for doing.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the surprisingly complex yet entirely manageable world of door locks. We hope you feel armed with the insights to tackle your next sticky key or misaligned latch with confidence. And as you go about your day, consider this. A truly secure door isn't just about the lock itself, is it? It's also about your active, informed role in its upkeep. How often do we overlook these simplest things that safeguard our daily lives, and what else might be waiting for a quick inspection, just needing your attention?